Hello everybody and welcome back once again. You're watching episode 5 of my Elves of Lorien Let's Play. My name is Jordan, also known as J Monster. And as you can see, we are pretty much where we left off in the last episode. Our victorious lords Tenant and Celeborn are having a little powwow in Moria. And the goblins of the Misty Mountains have been completely destroyed, which leaves us with the problem of what to do next. Well, what I'm considering doing is, because our northern borders here are threatened because of what I presume is a very large Orcish Gundabad empire over here. So I think we're gonna take them on and secure our southern borders and give our little high elf cousins down here a bit of a reprieve. Afterwards, once we've accomplished that, we are gonna head down towards Mordor, and we're gonna take the fight to the Black Gate itself. And in the meantime, as my economy starts to improve, I'm gonna send some expeditionary forces down here to help out our what I presume are very beleaguered southern allies. And, yeah, just prevent Mordor from walking all over them and the Harad Momokil Parade for having a field day in Gondor and Rohan. And who knows, maybe we'll end up fighting Isengard as they hold Fangorn, which is preventing us from having our great forest empire. So I'll probably take that next as soon as I have an opportunity. But first things first, time to send our very badly beaten troops back to our fortresses to retrain, because we took some pretty heavy casualties in the last episode, fighting the Balrogs and such. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Lord Haldir here is organizing our home defense forces. You can see we're stretched a little bit thin here in the southern lines. But yeah, I think that'll do for that turn. So where did I leave off in the last episode? I believe I was talking about the dwarves, and no, I was talking about men, wasn't I? Well, on the topic of men, we'll talk about the blending of the elven and mannish bloodlines. There's a pretty important case of that. I believe it was the first ever of the mixing of elves and men. And I mentioned it a few episodes back. And that would be Baron and Lorien. Now, they're an interesting case because these two people, as well as others who were involved in this, did some pretty amazing things. Baron, of course, was a man, and a little bit of background on him. He was of the House of Beor. His father was Barahir, whose ring he received from Lord Finron Felagund, who was the Lord of Nargothrond, and who will become important later in the story. He, during the Daigor Bragalach, or Bragalach, however you'd say that, Finrod, rather, was basically surrounded. Ooh! He'd make a nice governor, and loyal beyond question. Yeah, we're going to take him. And let's move him. How's this guy doing? Still treacherous. Well, I'm going to send somebody not useless down there. Do your job for you. And we're going to move him to the front lines. Maybe he'll get killed. We'll get lucky. Yeah, let's do that. But yes, Lord Felagund, he was surrounded by orcs, and Barahir came to his rescue. He cut his way into, or through the orc mob and made a wall of spears about Lord Felagund, and they managed to cut their way out of the battle. Play with that a little bit. And after that, Finrod, I keep calling him Finrod. It's, no, it is Finrod. Very good. He swore an oath to the House of Barahir to help them in their time of need, whenever that should arise. You have to excuse my snuffling. I have really bad allergies, and summer is a miserable time of year for me. What do we got here? Yeah, we don't really have anywhere to retrain them in any significant numbers, so I guess we'll have to just keep going on down here to Carascaladon. And that'll do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. That'll do for that turn. But yes, Lord Finrod swore an oath to the House of Barahir and all of his descendants. And so, when, after the Dagor Bragalach, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sure somebody will correct me, and I'd appreciate it if you do. The lands that they came from, Dorthonion, were lost to Morgoth and his invading hordes. And Barahir and 12 of his kinsmen, two of whom were his nephews, I believe were Baragund and Belagund or something like that, as well as a number of other outlaws, as well as his son Baron, refused to forsake their homes, and they did sort of what hurt to Morgoth that they could. And Morgoth actually took notice of them because they were pretty good at what they did. And he ensnared one of their number, Gorlim the Unhappy. I believe it was Sauron actually who he sent to deal with these guys. And so he would show him his wife, basically a vision of his wife, because he would go back to his home, and Gorlim would go back to his home, and he would see this phantom of his wife there, who looked like she was starving and miserable, and wondering where her husband was and why he had abandoned her. And so he was caught that way, and Sauron he gave him a very clever lie, because that's what Sauron does. He's the deceiver. He basically told him that he could reunite him with his wife if Gorlim told him everything he knew about the outlaws and how to find them. And so he did that. And it turned out that his wife was dead, and Sauron, true to his word, I suppose, killed him. And presumably they were reunited in death at some point. Hopefully. His name was Gorlim the Unhappy. He's sort of remembered as a traitor, so the guy could use a bit of a break. I'm proposing an alliance with these guys. We'll make a payment of 1,000.
No, we cannot.
What? Well, screw you guys then. Don't go cry to me when Mordor's knocking down your door. Make a tower. I suppose that'll do for that turn, won't it? No, it won't at all. I'll retrain them. Send a couple spearman units down there to be retrained. Or maybe just one. You guys can move along, move along, move along. Ew, pardon me. I hate summer. All I want to do is stay inside and just like board up my room so that no pollen gets in. But yes, Gorlim the Unhappy was killed, and he betrayed his friends who were slaughtered in the night. Except for Baron, who managed to escape. And he tracked down the orcs that killed his father. One of them had cut off his father's hand, still bearing the ring of Barahir. And he jumped out of the forest and killed the orc and took his ring and then ran off as fast as he could because he had a bunch of pissed off orcs behind him. And so I believe he went back to Dorthonion, and he lived there as long as he could, because that was his home, that's where he grew up, and everybody that he knew lived and also died. And eventually he gave up these lands, and he passed over the mountains called the Nandongortheb, which I believe borders the realm of Doriath, which, as I told you earlier, was surrounded by a girdle called not an actual girdle, but it's a magical enchantment called the Girdle of Melian, and nobody could pass through it without Thingol's permission, except somebody who was driven by a power greater than Melian herself, who was a Maya. And Baron, being driven by one such mighty doom, passed through this enchantment, and he came upon Luthien, the daughter of Thingol. Oh my god, we're broke! How did that happen? I guess we built a lot of stuff, didn't we? Oops. Let's see. What can we build here? Very good. Ooh, we can get some heavy infantry now. That makes me happy. But we don't really have money to do much, so we'll just throw everybody in there and yeah, sure. Well, next turn. Wait, no. Oops, damn it. Now next turn. And he saw Lorien there. He called her Tenuviel, which means nightingale. And he would, I believe several times he tried to get close to her, and she, being an elf of a very high lineage, was magical, and she would disappear just as he managed to get his arms around her. But eventually she fell in love with him, and they were together, and she brought him home to meet Dad, which didn't go very well. As I said before, Lord Thingol didn't really think too much of mortals, the short-lived little pests that they are, in his opinion. And so he sent him on an errand that he thought would get Baron killed. He was not going to give up his daughter unless he was given a Silmaril as a dowry. And Baron, not really knowing much about the Silmarils, sort of laughed at this and he said, "Phew, that's all you're going to sell your daughter for? Sucker, I'll get this for you." So he left. And Thingol, hoping to never see him again, locked his daughter away, I believe in a tree. Sort of a weird Rapunzel thing, and she was guarded. And, yeah, there was a great hound that belonged to one of the brothers Feanor. I can't remember which ones. Might have been Celegorm and Curufin. But I'll get back to that in a second. I'll just move some stuff around here. Ooh, more stuff being built. Turns are going by quickly. Build something up there. I suppose we need to strengthen this little bitty here, don't we? Oh, then. Send 2 companies of rangers down there. Yeah. Ooh, I'd like to build one of those too. We'll get some quick moving scouts to send over the plains to the dismay of our foes. A little bit of micromanaging. That's about all we can do for this turn. If only we had more money. These guys don't seem too keen to attack this fortress, but we'll see about that. Might end up losing that orc outpost, but that's okay. But yes, where was I? So, Lorien was locked away in her little tree, and Baron went off, and he went to visit Finrod, Felagund, the king of Nargothrond. And he showed him the ring of Barahir, and he asked for his help. And there was 2 of the sons of Feanor there. I believe it was Celegorm and Curufin. And I believe they basically persuaded some of the elves in Nargothrond not to go and help Finrod when he asked for it. So we had less help than would have been hoped. And so Finrod and his companions from Nargothrond, and Baron, of course, went off towards what had previously been Tol Sirion, which is a tower, but was now controlled by Sauron, and it was called Tolin Gaurhoth, which it means Isle of Werewolves, which, as you can imagine, is not a very nice place. Sauron had created the werewolves, I believe. And so they went there, and they had disguises on, and Finrod basically had a singing competition with Sauron, which you can imagine is a very high-stakes game, or a high-stakes episode of Glee. But he lost. Sauron defeated Finrod, who, despite being very powerful, was, I guess, didn't practice his singing enough and was off-key or something. And, yeah, Sauron stripped away their disguises, but he didn't know who they were or where they were from, or what they were doing in his lands, of course. Let's retrain some more guys. Elves. Very good. What about this? Yeah. Oop. Up you go. And... What? Oh, I guess we don't have enough people yet. What do we have down here? Yeah, very light garrisons, but our high elf buddies are down here. Down there somewhere. So good. We can retrain stuff here already. What? Oh, I guess that's the armorer. Relations worsened. Harad. Nobody cares. So he didn't know where they were, so he threw them into a pit, and he commanded one of his werewolves on the Isle of Werewolves to devour one of the companions every evening until they would talk. And of course they didn't talk. And it got down to Baron and Finrod. And when the werewolf came for Baron, Finrod broke his chains, and he had a wrestling match with this werewolf, and he pummeled it into oblivion, but he was killed himself in the process. And Baron was left alone in this dark pit. So around this time, Lúthien Tinuviel had her woman's intuition and realized that something was wrong, and that, well, she knew that this was a suicide errand, so she went off to, I believe she ended up at Nargothrond, and people had persuaded her to stay. I believe the brothers Celegorm, the brothers of the sons of Feanor, Celegorm and Cruafin, wanted to keep her around. But Juan, the Spanish wolf, was disinclined to this, because he was a good wolf, even if his masters were kind of jerks. And she escaped with him. And they went to the Isle of Werewolves, Tolin Gaurhoth, and Lúthien had another sing-off with Lord Sauron. Or I believe she she issued some sort of challenge to him, and Sauron, being very wicked, wanted to do terrible things to Miss Lúthien, and he would send his werewolves one by one, but he didn't know that Juan was there. And, are we still retraining people? Good. And so Juan would silently kill each one of these werewolves until he sent the greatest werewolf. He was the only one that was left. His name was Luin. Yeah, Draugluin, who was the father of werewolves, the greatest werewolf of that time. And Juan attacked this werewolf, and he beat him quite badly. And before he died, he managed to get back to Sauron and tell him that Juan is there. And Juan was known to Sauron. There was a prophecy concerning him that he would only be killed by the greatest wolf that ever lived. And Sauron, thinking, hey, I could be the greatest wolf that ever lived, he took the shape of a werewolf and went outside and fought with Juan. And they had a mighty, mighty battle. But Sauron was beaten, and Juan had him by the throat, and he pinned him down until he agreed to relinquish the Isle of Werewolves, Tolin Gaurhoth, to Lúthien and him. Ooh, look at that. Look at all that money we have. We're going to start pumping out our elite troops soon. Okay, where'd all that money we had go? Guess we'll do that. And we'll crank that up. That. And get him some nice archers. And what do we have down here? Yeah, hopefully he's not a useless governor or something. Novice governor, good at the walls. Speaks of loyalty. Yeah, he's a treacherous bastard. That's why he has this tiny little town over here. But yes, Sauron was beaten, and he relinquished the island to the Isles to Lúthien and Juan. And she threw down the towers and opened up the pits, and all the people that had been trapped there were freed, and they came out blinking into the light and were able to go along with their lives. And she found Baron there. And she begged him to run away with her and And, you know, forget about my father. He's a jerk anyway. We're gonna go... Yeah, we're gonna retrain these guys. We'll use them in the place of our more novice troops. 2 spearman companies, a swordsman company. So... 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Send them up there, them down there. We'll send these guys up here. And we're going to leave Lord Tenant in charge of this place. And we're gonna send Lord Celeborn up here to lead the troops. But yes, sure, we'll make one of those. Why not? We got lots of money, sort of. Gotta have one of them, no question. So yes, the prisoners were freed, and Lorien begged Baron not to give up this foolish quest. But Baron wouldn't hear of it. He wanted to win Lorien from her father honorably, or something like that. Or maybe he had something to prove, because Thingol was a bit of an arrogant jerk. Whatever it happened to be, whatever motivated him, he decided that they would go on. And so Lorien, being the magical elftress that she is, she disguised them as Drauglin, who had been defeated by Juan, and disguised herself as Thuring Wethil, which is a big, like, vampire. She's not very much described, so you'll have to get a picture of her in your head, but I'm sure she was very scary. And they managed to get all the way to the gates of Angband like this, because if nobody would stop them or waylay them at all. If you've got this giant werewolf with a big vampire clutched to its back, flapping its wings and looking terrifying. Yeah, you guys get up there. And so they made it to the gates of Angband, and Lorien basically sang, I believe she sang a song to put the gate guards to sleep. There's a lot of power in voices in the Tolkien books. Sauron, the voice of Sauron is very dangerous tool, even after he's been deprived of his staff. And of course, Lorien could make the entire host of Angband fall asleep just by singing to them. And yes, so that's how they made it into Angband, and they made it down deep into the into the pits of Angband, and she came to Morgoth, and she's told him that she wanted to sing for him. And Morgoth, thinking of terrible, evil things to do to this lovely elf maiden in his head, agreed. He decided that he would humor her because she was in the middle of Angband. Not even the entire host of the Noldor and the Sindar combined could save her. So he pretty much, he was very confident about it in his position, in being able to hold her. And so she sang and she danced for them. And the entire host of Angband was put to sleep. And Baron took his knife, Angrist, and he pried one of the Silmarils off of Morgoth's crown. Pop! Off it comes. And then he gets a little greedy, and he figures, I'm not just going to give him one Silmaril, I'm going to give him all 3 of the gems of Feanor. And so he goes to get the other one in. The knife Angrist snaps, and a sliver of it hits Morgoth in the cheek, and he starts to wake up. And they have to run. So Morgoth sent one of the werewolves. His name was Karharoth. It's not a very easy word to say. But it means the red maw. Ooh. Yeah, sure. They can get married. Where is it located? Roman. Where is that? Okay. I don't know where that is, so... Oh well. And so the hosts of Angband begin to stir with Morgoth, and they flee. And this wolf who had been by the throne of Morgoth, who he had fed from his own hand with the flesh of men and elves, pursued them. And Beren turned on the wolf and he said something threatening to him, but the wolf wasn't buying it, so the wolf bit off his hand, and they lost the Silmaril. It was the hand that had the Silmaril in it. And so they were forced to flee, and Huan, I believe, fought this thing off. Actually, no, he didn't, because the Silmarils were consecrated by the Valar, and they would burn the flesh of anything that was dark or evil or impure and that sort of thing. So now this wolf has basically a fireball in his belly. Like, he just ate, like, the hottest tamales stuffed with, like, hot sauce and ghost peppers, and it was just horrible for him. So he freaks out and he just takes off. He runs out into the world, maddened with pain. And, I think that'll do for that turn. Well, let's just play with our taxes a little bit here. There we go. Turn that off. Yes, that can go down. Yeah, we don't really have a whole lot of money at the moment. Oh, hello, miss. Oh, that's just my girlfriend. Hello. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Oh. But yes, this wolf takes off, and Beren, being poisoned by this horrible wound by this fearsome werewolf, he almost dies. And Luthien pours forth her power into him, and she saves him. She's really kind of the hero of this story. Beren's, for the most part, he's kind of along for the ride. And Lord Celeborn, onward. He's gonna meet up with this elite host here, and they'll be augmented by these guys when we manage to get them into town. And right, where was I? And so she saves Beren's life, and for like the second time, and not for the last time. And I believe they make it back to Doriath, and Thingol asks where the Silmaril is, because he wants, he wants his due. He wants this pathetic mortal man to prove that he is worthy of one of the highborn of the elves, and Thingol's own daughter. And so he holds up his hand and he says, "In my hand there is a Silmaril," or something like that, paraphrasing, which is true. And I guess Thingol liked this as an answer. And so, let's do that. Well, we don't have enough money? Fine. Yeah, our finances are not doing too great at the moment. We'll have to take some towns from these wretched orcs up here and improve our lot in life a little bit. Can we make it to the mountains? I don't want the Sylvans to get pissed off at me for being in their land. Oh well. So they make it back, and he says, "Yeah, there's a Silmaril in my hand," and he holds up his hand. And he was known as Beren Erhamion, which means it's either Erhamion or Camlost, that means empty-handed. It's a joke. Not everything is serious in Middle-earth. And so he was granted the hand of Luthien, thanks to pretty much Luthien. And then they got news of this terrifying wolf on the borders of Doriath, and because he had a Silmaril inside of him, making him go nuts, he was basically driven by a doom that was greater than the power of Melian, so he could come into Doriath as he willed. And so there was a big hunt that went on with Beren, Thengol, Huan, Mablung of the Heavy Hand, who was the captain of Thengol's guard, and I believe there were some other people as well. And so these elves went forth to hunt this big wolf. And we probably missed some taxes. Oh well. And so they went forth and they hunted this big wolf and they found him. And this wolf was bearing down on Thengol, and Beren got in front and he got himself bit again. And Juan attacked this wolf, and Carjaroth and Juan, the Spanish guard dog, Juan. Very bad Spanish accent. Ignore that. They killed each other. And because that was the greatest wolf that had ever lived and would ever live. This maddened wolf fed by Morgoth. And infused with madness by a Silmaril. And Juan, who was only permitted to speak about 3 times throughout his entire life, spoke then for the last time. And I don't remember what he said, but I'm sure it was a good one. And then he died, and Baron himself died, and Lúthien also died of a broken heart. Everybody died. It was just a mess. Thanks to Thengol. And probably should have played with some taxes. Anyway. And so Thengol and Melian were miserable because their beautiful daughter had died. Lúthien was the most beautiful of the children of Ilúvatar who ever lived. And ever would live. And her descendants would live on in the lines of both elves and men, in the form of Elrond and his brother Elros, and the line of the Númenóreans, the royal line, and Arwen as well. And so, when elves die, they go to a place called the Halls of Mandos, which is in Valinor, where they basically wait in a giant queue to be reborn, sort of based on their own good deeds and such. Uh-oh, we better hurry, because I think our city's about to get besieged here. And Baron refused to leave without seeing Lúthien one more time. What is this? Pathetic orcs. I'm going to send these guys out here to deal with this orc threat. It's a tiny little battle, but it'll be fun to watch. All we see is the campaign. This is the campaign screen so far, so yeah, it's time for something to die. But in the halls of Mandos, Baron waited for Lúthien. He wouldn't leave without her. And because men, they go somewhere sort of beyond the halls of Middle-earth, of Ia, which is, I believe it is a Valinor, like it's the language of the Valar, whatever they're called. Yeah, it's Ainurian or whatever is the word for Middle-earth, I believe. So we're going to move our troops forward in this big block. We're going to set our archers to work. Yes, forward! Alright. Ranged orc looters. Yeah, we're going to take them down first. So, yeah, she waited and she sang a song for Mandos which so moved him. In it she wove the sorrows of the men and the Eldar. And he agreed to grant her a wish. She's the only person who's ever managed to move him like that before or since. And she wished to be mortal so she could live with Baron and die with Baron as it happens. And she was granted her wish, and Thengol and Melian were overjoyed to see their daughter, but they realized then that that she was mortal, and that the time they had with her then was the only time they would ever have. Very sad. And yeah, that's the tale of Baron and Lúthien, of the sorrows of these two lovers from different kindreds who came together and basically formed a line that would last in Middle-earth throughout the ages, far beyond the First Age, the ending of the First Age, all the way to the Fourth. But yeah, love stories aside, let's kill things. We're gonna move these guys forward. Surprise! Looks like our infantry here has got the jump on these orc infantry, thanks to their crouch-activated cloaking devices. Come on, guys, form up, do this! Just in time to receive this orc charge. Yeah, let's take them. Take them head on. We're gonna catch these this orc infantry between our two our 2 infantry units, and we're gonna smash them. Yeah, see, they don't like that. They're shaken already. Fighting on a hill against these inappropriately dressed, but still very fearsome Lorien infantry. Let's see what these guys are doing. Yeah, they're getting shot up by our very accurate elf archers. Come on, boyos, get in there. Let's speed that up a little bit. Yeah, look at that. Look at them die. Yeah, these guys have no chance. And now that they've turned around, they're getting shot in the back. So I think we've got them pretty much... Yeah, we've got it pretty much in the bag. We're going to send these guys around here to fire at the backs of these orcs. So that when they rout, they'll rout right through these elf archers. These archers of Lorien. Look at that. Oop. Nope. Everybody dies. No orcs are getting off this battlefield. We want to shoot our own troops, so we're going to send them after them. Oh yeah, there's Lord Celeborn's stunt double. So why we don't end up shooting our own troops here? Yeah, you stop that. Actually, no. You shoot those guys. That's fine. Send our companies... Oof, pardon me. Running right through these shrieking orcs and, finish them off. Get some valuable experience in the process. But, yes, little note about Baron is that he's the only one of the men who have seen where, or to have died and knows where men go beyond, or after death. But he doesn't talk about it. Fair enough. That'll do. I'll break them off. Yeah, we'll gun these guys down and make sure not one of them gets off this battlefield alive. Look at that. 100% casualties. Beautiful. Ah, one got away! That's disappointing. I chose Mr. Baggins. Just let anyone say that I have chosen the wrong man, hobbit, or the wrong house, and you can stop at 13 and have all the bad luck you like, or go back to digging coal. Gandalf the Thorin and his men, dwarves. Unfinished tales. No thank you. There we go. So, let's see here. Lord Celeborn and his soldiers. How about these guys? That's what I like to see. And send... Aw. Not enough money. That makes me sad. But that'll be okay. We'll leave them there to help this guy hold down the fort. Let's see. I'm sure there's something that needs to be done. Tal Daugion, which is Sindarin for Doctor Who, as it turns out. Fiscally challenged. That is what I wanted to avoid. Let's see here. Soon, Miss Moneypenny, we'll be able to recruit troops. Very bad Connery. Ignore that completely. So I guess that'll do for... Nope. No, it won't. Speaks of loyalty. Good at the walls. Can tell a tale. Well, that's good to know. He's a liar in addition to being disloyal. But, what other interesting lore can we get into? Think of something involving the Sylvan Elves. Or not the Sylvan Elves, but, well, Lorien Elves and and the Elves of Mirkwood. In the Second Age, there was a large battle called the Battle of Daggerlot. I've actually done a video of it in a new historical battle series, which you guys can check out, because I'll put a link in the description. So get that out of the way. Shameless self-plug is now over, so you can turn your speakers back on. Uh-oh. Looks like they're gonna... I think they have a ballista. Oh, never mind. But the Battle of Daggerlot was fought between the last alliance of men and elves. Oop. Can we get all the way up there? No, we can't quite make it. Oh, that'll be sad if we don't save these guys. Because then I'll have to get another garrison. What did we fail? I don't want to talk to the dwarves. Dwarves are rude. Okay, that's good. Great. Fantastic. I guess we should retrain some people, shouldn't we? That will do. We'll send these guys up here to aid Lord Celeborn's force and make ourselves a proper army. Crank up those taxes. But yes, the Battle of Daggerlot was fought between the... maybe we shouldn't blow our load on all those guys. If you'll excuse the expression. Fought between the last alliance of men and elves, which anybody who's seen the opening to Fellowship of the Ring will see that battle depicted in sort of Peter Jackson's vision of it. And there was a large contingent of elves from Lorien led by Amdir, as well as the elves from Mirkwood, the Sylvan elves, led by Orfer, who was Thranduil's father. And at the Battle of the Daggerlot, which took place outside of Mordor, in the films is shown as being pretty much right on the slopes of Oradwin, which is Mount Doom. Who is that? Is he spying on us? Why is that okay? Oh, that upsets me. They're conducting espionage missions against us. Well, I'm gonna try not to pick a fight with the Sylvan Elves, but uh-oh. Das ist not good, ja. So we may have to send Lord Haldir and a relief force down there to save Karas Galadon. But the Sylvan Elves, led by Orfer and Amdir, were present at this battle, and they resented putting themselves under the command of a Noldor commander, that being Gil-galad, the last High King of the Noldor in Middle-earth. So you know what, we're going to take Lord Celeborn here, and we're going to break this siege. Let's see what they got here. I hate ballistas, but what else they got? Mostly just filthy Snaga. That'll be okay. And they charged brashly at the ranks of Mordor before Gil-galad had given the order to charge. And in so doing so, basically got themselves isolated. And Orfer was killed, and I believe Amdir was pushed back into the dead marshes and was killed himself. All right, let's see what we got here. And we're gonna do. We're gonna use our stealth to our advantage here, because they can't see us. So we're gonna place some archers up here and up there, and so we're gonna turn that off. Put some of these guys right here, company of them there, company of them there, and we're gonna draw them in using our general, who we're gonna hide behind this hill. I guess we'll put 2 companies. Oh no, do that. We're gonna draw them here with our general, who's behind this hill and thus well protected from any ballista bolts that come his way. But we should probably do this, just so they don't get shot accidentally. And we'll also do this with these guys. So yeah, I promise you guys some ambush tactics, and that's what I'm gonna try and deliver. Yeah, maybe they'll be fine the way they are. They've got a nice little lip here to protect them. So unlike the Sylvan Elves, we're gonna show some restraint, despite them having this artillery here, which can prove quite bothersome for us. So as soon as that's in range of all of our archers, we're gonna open fire, and then we're gonna send our troops down here quickly. Actually, no, we're not gonna rush down there. We're not gonna make the same mistake that Orifer and Amdir did, and we're not gonna rush into the ranks of these goblins. We're gonna let them come to us. And as soon as we have the opportunity, we're gonna start opening fire on this ballista here. Wait for it. Got our Lord Celeborn up on this hill. Yeah, we'll have him start shooting at that ballista. You guys get him yet? No? Alright. Well, I think that should be okay. Let's these get a little closer. Excellent. We're going to rain death down on this ballista and take out as many of them as we possibly can. And then we're going to turn on our fire arrows and try and break the morale of these goblins as they come up the hill. And we're going to engage them with our superior infantry after they get tired coming up this this pretty much 90-degree angle that they have to climb here. Well, he doesn't want to shoot at the ballista. Well, okay. That's alright. Yeah, we're gonna move these guys right down here. So these goblins, this mass of goblins, comes basically right up into us, and they're gonna be able to be easily flanked by this hidden unit of Lorien spearmen here. As you can see, these goblins are dying in great numbers because they've bunched themselves up here, and I don't see. I guess their ballistas finally starting to shoot at us. Well, that should be alright. And they're getting close enough to our troops. Oh, looks like they've broken off this unit here, and they're going to send these Snaga Stalkers at us. I'm going to send these Lorien guys here into the sides of these pathetic goblin infantry here. We're going to have him stop. I have to come on. There we go. Actually, no, I won't do that. See if we can get our Lorien infantrymen to get down here and form a proper line.
If we continue like this, we will smash the end.
I guess they're gonna come right for our archers, so we're gonna move them farther up this hill. I believe we've taken a nice bite out of this ballista unit here. They shouldn't be too much of a threat at this point. Yeah, if they're gonna start shooting at our infantry, they're gonna hit their own guys in the process, so it's alright. Oh, these clever goblins have reversed this hill advantage on us, because I was careless and didn't pay attention. But that's alright, because they're basically in a good position to get shot up by our archers up on that hill. So we're going to turn this to our advantage if we can. Balance of forces is evenly matched. This light goblin infantry shouldn't pose too much of a threat for our Lorien infantry. What do they got here? And soon enough we'll be able to rain death down on these goblins here with our Lorien rangers up there on the hill. Once this goblin unit has been disposed of, this artillery unit, I mean. Yeah, and now they don't have enough soldiers to operate a catapult, so should be alright. Yeah, I'll have them start shooting up these guys here. And then we're going to wheel our Lorien infantry around, take these guys from the rear. Which sounds a little dirty. I don't really mean it that way. They're orcs, not very attractive. As you can see here, we're pushing hard on this this band of filthy Snaga and goblin. There, we've put them to the route and send our guys right around this way. Get a nice charge off. threaten the backs of these goblin infantry, who will probably break, I'm sure, quite soon after. Yeah, look at that. Send our Lorien Rangers here. Get them a little more experience. Not that these guys need them. Gold bar already. Yeah, these guys will start running. And there you go. Our vengeful Lorien infantry, who thankfully this battle weren't completely slaughtered, almost to a man, elf, are gonna, yeah, they're gonna run these guys down. That'll be the end of them.
The enemy army flees the field. Pursue and run them down.
Finish these guys. Send our... Oh, stop shooting our own people! There we go. Our Lord infantry gained an experience chevron there, and yeah, I'm happy with that. So we're gonna keep them out of the fight, and we're gonna let our archers here take care of the rest. Speed that up a little bit. As you can see, they're being gunned down all the way down this hill. Go! Attack! These guys probably aren't shooting anybody. No. Stupid AI. Charge! Get down that hill. You guys follow down this hill. And do our best to make sure that none of these guys escape. As you can see, they went more or less according to plan. No fire arrows, but it was raining, so I kind of thought against it. Go! Faster! They're gonna get away, aren't they? That is saddening. Run! See if we can get a volley or two off on these guys. Look at that. Look at them die. That is pleasing to my eyes. Oh, very good. That'll do. That'll do, pig. Only 16. Only lost 16 of our elves, and they were pretty much completely destroyed. I don't think there's enough of them to really reform a unit, so that should be the end of that goblin army. The Lady of the Golden Wood is on our side, it seems. Is that Boromir? We're gonna execute them. So yeah. Oh well, didn't it? We defended our borders there. We're gonna camp out there for a little while and wait for these reinforcements down here to make their way up. So we can have ourselves a proper attack force. Because we're severely lacking in infantry, and most of our infantry is gonna come from these guys. So yeah. And these Galadrim guards, who I'm very excited to have. They don't look like that, unfortunately, until you get the armor upgrade. They look kind of fruity, but it's okay. I'm gonna take him down here with a host of archers and some infantry, and we're gonna break this siege. No, I don't want you to be controlled by the AI, because you'll just get yourself killed because you're stupid. Yeah, just some pathetic orcs. I'm sure we can handle this. And he that breaks a thing to find out what it is has left the path of wisdom. Start deployment. Look at this. First time seeing Haldir in the battlefield here, who I'm very pleased with because he has his own proper model. And I'm kind of wishing that I had used him rather than Lord Celeborn. But yeah, just because he's so interesting looking. But oh well. Let's see what these orcs are packing. We're gonna do this. Apparently we don't. Oh, never mind. We do have it. Let's see what that does, because it doesn't seem to make anybody move any slower. Perhaps it does, and I just don't notice it. I don't know. We're gonna take this fellow here and his unit. And we're gonna send him over here double time, because we've got quite a lot of orcs down here. It could get really messy, and I want to keep these companies intact because they're my home guard. So if I can not have them die in huge numbers, that would be fantastic. Yeah, don't use fire arrows. I understand the fire arrows. Yeah, they're good in this game, but I usually only use them for like breaking morale of troops that are already quite low. Otherwise, I just find it more worth the time to just use the normal arrows because people die faster. They do look pretty though. You gotta hand that to them. And plus, like, since seeing as we're on very hard, they don't really make that much of a difference in terms of morale. Since the AI just gets a ton of bonuses. Our lovely Craig Parker here, and his retinue. All right, let's see what we got here. So these guys focus their fire on those light infantry there. Weaken their center a little bit. Before we charge right in, we're gonna get Lord Craig Parker here, aka Haldir, to get into the battle, right into the thick of it. Ooh. Lord, I don't know, pretty boy here has finally come up, and he's gonna save us, hopefully, maybe. Oh, looks like Lorien infantry might be useful. I'm going to send these guys back. They've done their job reasonably well. Yeah, we're going to plug the gap here with Lord Haldir and his retinue, and we're going to send these guys around the side to shoot into the backs of these orcs. Which I guess we'll just shoot these guys over here as they come up, since they're mostly intact. They haven't really felt the sting of our elven bows yet. Well, elven arrows. Guess it wouldn't really do too much damage if you hit somebody with a bow. I'll have to watch these guys here, make sure. Yeah, this company of orc spearmen doesn't come into the flank of that general's bodyguard, or right into the face, I guess. Bam. Yeah, I'll break these guys quick and put some pressure on these guys. Hopefully save our Lorien infantry, who are once again on our flank, facing pretty horrific odds. Hopefully they don't all die. I would dislike that. What's Lord Craig Parker doing? I'll move him up. I assume that this is where the general is, so if we take this down, we can really wreck their morale and run them all off the field before we take too many casualties, because, yeah, I really want to avoid that. I've already spent a ton of money retraining troops, so I'd like to spend it on something else. Myself, preferably, but that's not an option, so I guess I'll have to buy buildings. Yeah, they don't really give me a lot of room to be kind of despotic and spend all the money on myself, build myself like a huge palace. Entertain all my friends in them, who I pay to be there, because I have that kind of money. Speed it up a little bit. Look at that. That's just beautiful. We just annihilated like half of that remaining unit in a single volley. Yeah, and down goes the general, Captain Gordoff. I love orc names. I love saying orc names specifically. Okay, so we're gonna send Lord Haldir here on the flank to kind of shore this up, because these goblin spearmen are becoming a problem, and then we're gonna surround this goblin infantry and we're gonna take them down. And yeah, stop. You guys don't shoot anything else, because you'll just screw it up. I guess we can send Lord Prettyface around the side here. Charge! Yeah, start a mass route here. Yeah, there goes those orc raiders.
The enemy army flees
And we're gonna run them down,
run them down.
and that'll be it. Send all of our companies. Yeah, running at these howling orcs. Destroy them while we have the opportunity. Let's see. Yeah, we only killed 65 of them. Unacceptable. Nobody survives. These orcs were very nice, and they just kind of stood here and allowed our elven archers a little target practice. You know, they could use it. They only have one chevron at the moment. We'll send these guys down here too, just so in case our companies can't finish the job. Up here, go! Yeah, look at that. We're going to run right through them. Destroy them all. Go! Send them over there. These guys are not quick enough, unfortunately. They're out of range, so it looks like most of this these two units here are going to get away, but what we can do is cut these guys off. I really feel like I should be playing Benny Hill music to this. But I think my girlfriend would probably kill me. Yeah. Just give me the stink eye. See, either means you'll be sleeping on the couch if you start playing Benny Hill. Yeah, we only managed to get 83. That's a little disappointing, but yeah, we still managed to kill a lot of people. Orcs. Not really people. So we don't have to feel bad about it. Faramir must be there, they said. He can govern man and beast. He will make it yet. Orderly retreat from Ramasekor, the siege of Gondor. We're gonna kill them all, because... Yep. And apparently these guys need extra troops to keep order. Because yeah, we have that pain in the ass elven spy in there. Make a what is it? Royal archery range or something like that. Retrain everybody. What do we got in here? Lord Tenants, crank up the taxes. That's gonna start making us some nice money soon. And where are these guys? On their way. Very good. Bam. So our borders are nice and secure for the most part. We got that there. So I guess we could actually no, that'll be fine because I'm sort of suspicious of our Sylvan cousins over here. I don't think they bear us the same goodwill that we bear them. They don't particularly like us at the moment. So I guess we could offer that. Make them like us a little more. Relations are very good. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about them sending that spy into our midst. Already. End that turn. Hopefully we can get a bigger battle going on here soon, but we're sort of in a maneuvering phase as we make our way up towards that big Gundabadian empire. 6 turns, 250 gold. I can do that. Sure, let's be friends. All you guys want is like 1,500 gold to be my friend? Sure. You can come hang out in my huge pleasure palace. We're just making friends left, right, and center. I love this. Skalf. Mythe Finden. Yeah, I like his name better. So yeah, what other lore can we get into? I was worried that this day would come that I would just run out of things to talk about. Let me see. We could talk about a little more about the lineage of men, perhaps. Yeah, let's do that. The first contact with men and elves was, well, there's some sort of unnamed contact that goes on as men are traveling from the east. But sure, why not? A lot of archers. Our finances are sort of in ruins at the moment. We failed something else. Oh no, very good. Relations reports, good, perfect, and perfect. Wow, we're just totally popular, aren't we? We probably need another diplomat soon. I don't know if we can make one yet. Nope. Just let me get a little bit of this micromanaging out of the way. Yada yada yada. Nothing there. Our culture should be going up quite a lot here. Nice. Sends Lord Celeborn here. Let's see. The troll shaws. Bet you there's probably somewhere down there that we could take over. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll gift it to the high elves and they'll be our friends. But what was I talking about? These guys are gonna have to take the long way around, I guess. What was I talking about? I hate it when this happens. We were talking about, was it dwarves? No, men. Yes, the houses of men. First contact with the Noldor was between the House of Beor and Finrod Felagund, who is known as the friend of men. I believe their name for him was Nom or Nomin. And basically what happened is he saw these people singing songs in a tongue that he didn't understand, and he decided that the best way to say hi to these strangers would be to sneak into their camp while they were sleeping and play the harp for them, wake them all up in the middle of the night. Nice of him, wasn't it? And so they became friends, and they learned the elven tongue of him, and just kind of made the transition of moving into Beleriand afterwards a little easier on the Sons of Men. And I guess that's all we can do for that turn. Oh, I really want Eldar volunteers, though. Oh, that makes me sad, but we'll have them in our army, and it won't cost us any money. So, yeah. It was the first contact between them. And the first experience with the short-livedness of men also was between Beor the Old and Felagund. His friend Beor just lied down one night and willingly relinquished his life because death is known as the gift of men. Which, you can debate that as much as you want, but these long-lived creatures, they gotta get tired of being alive after a while, seeing everything that they know and they love diminish and fall apart, and yeah, basically lose ground over the ages to the short-lived Sons of Men, the Merchants Guild. I don't know what that. Did they give me more money or something? Maybe Coldfells. Where's that? I guess we could take that, couldn't we? Yeah, why not? Oh, hello. I hope they don't fight us. I'd hate to fight the High Elves. I like the High Elves. But they're kind of in our way, aren't they? I suppose we're technically in our territory, so they wouldn't really have any cause to fight us. But, yeah. We will do that. And strengthen our border garrisons maybe a little bit. These guys probably need soldiers, don't they? Yeah, give them some Rangers of Lorien. But yeah, the episode is actually over an hour at this point, so I think I'll probably I'll call it there after the next few turns. Hopefully we can get a good battle in here. Otherwise, I'll stop it just so. Over an hour is a long time to expect people to listen to the sound of my voice, so. But yeah, that was the first contact between the elves and the men. And afterwards, the sons of men would volunteer to serve in the armies of the Eldar and the Sindar, and they were mighty allies in the struggle against Morgoth. And they would do quite a lot of great deeds in the service of the elves. One of which was, after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, the men of Dor Lomin, of whom Hurin and Huor were members. They fought a rearguard action to save the host of the Elves of Gondolin as they retreated off the field, and ultimately the lives of Turgon. And ultimately, their sacrifice was what saved the elves altogether, because without that, there would have been no Gondolin. Ooh, yes! Oh, that makes me happy! Without them, there would have been no Tuor, who had head to Gondolin, because they would have lost their king and Tuor, and they would have lost their king Turgon. Sorry, and Tuor was the father of Erendil, who becomes important later because he is the only the elf to pass the basically the fence that the Valar set up against the Noldor, so that they couldn't come back after the kinslayings. We'll probably want some more troops, won't we? Yeah, we'll slowly build up our soldiers here. There we go. And but they gave ground until they had the river Riverion, or Reveal, I believe, was in front of them, and they fought to the death there against the overwhelming hordes of Angband. All of the hosts of Angband then swarmed against these brave men, and they were killed almost to the last man, except for Hurin, who Morgoth had ordered to be taken alive, and he killed over 70 soldiers of the host of Angband. It even drove against the bodyguard of Gothmog himself, the Lord of the Balrogs. And every time Hurin killed somebody, he would yell, "Aure Antuluva," which means "day will come again." So all of the valiant men of the House of Hador, from whom the Dunlendings and the Rohirrim are descended, were slain, and the orcs piled their heads in a big mound, which gleamed gold in the sunset, because all of them had blonde hair. Alrighty, that should be our turn. We'll do this last battle here, and then we'll end it. I think 2 of them will be more than enough. Let's see what we got here. Gazler the Honorable. Not really what you would expect in an orc chieftain, but here we go. We're gonna take this city from them, and we're gonna end the episode. I know the men of Rohan, true and valiant, our allies, dwelling still in the lands we gave them long ago. I don't believe that's Boromir. Yes, it is Boromir that says that. The Council of Elrond. Start deployments. Alrighty. We're gonna send our Eldar volunteers here. Who, I just love these guys. Look at that. Got some High Elves on our team. That makes me happy, because the High Elves are probably my favorite faction in this game. So what we're gonna do is, since they don't really have, it's another orc settlement, like staging ground, so they don't really have any towers to fire back against us. So we are gonna weaken them, and then we're gonna send our troops in and take these walls by force. And take those pathetic Snaga stalkers down, and send them over here, so they've got more or less a clear shot to that town square. I love this. It's not not much of a city. It's more of like an orcish fairground. See, like they've got a little jungle gym here for this little Snaga babies, and oh my god, look at this. It's an orcish petting zoo with no animals in it. I guess they ate them all. Yeah, I guess that's what this is. Not much money to be made in orcish petting zoos, apparently. Here we go. Fire into the bodies of the plump little naked bodies of these lightly armored Snaga infantry. And what's Lord Celeborn doing? Being lazy, that's what. I'm gonna send him over here. Deal with these orcs on the walls. And we're gonna move the spearman company up in preparation for our assault on the walls. We're gonna send our Eldar spearmen right in there to deal with these guys. Break down these walls. As our archers continue to rain death upon our foes. Yeah, look at that. That's just beautiful. That's begging to be shot up, isn't it? I'm really excited to see these guys in combat. These Eldar volunteers they're quite powerful. I'm probably going to use them as part of a core force, because they can. I'm pretty sure that in this version, mercenaries can be retrained just about anywhere, not just in places where they're available. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, I can't wait to have these guys in there. They're going to be a very welcome addition to our armies, because we don't really have much in terms of heavy infantry, and when we do get them, our infantry units are quite small. So. Yeah, we're gonna fire into this big mass right here, and we're gonna destroy this goblin army. Speed it up a little bit. Let's watch.
The battering ram is in place. It will not be.
Yeah, our Eldar infantry are knocking on the door. Hopefully we can get the greater part of these Snagas killed before they have to, before our Eldar have to fight them. They'll make quick work of these guys anyway, but I want to preserve their numbers as best I can. I really love these models.
Done its work.
Alrighty. Looks like they're going to come out right at us. We're going to show them what we think of that.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Looks like most of them are retreating. We're gonna send our guys in right here.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Yeah, form up, boys. Form up in that breach. I'm gonna send these guys in support. Our Eldar infantry are right here slaughtering these pathetic Snaga. You can see them dying in pretty great numbers. Yeah, the Eldar don't play around. See, they can even walk through walls. That is how badass they are. We have all of our archers fire on these orc bodyguards. Take them down quickly. Lorien spearmen are here in the fight. We're gonna use them. Overwhelm these goblin lines here.
The enemy's walls belong to us now.
Charge! Yeah, we're gonna do as much damage to these orc bodyguards as we can, because they're quite fearsome, as you've seen in previous battles. They can really hold their own. None of our Eldar infantry have died yet, which is great. They're probably not even wounded, except for a few guys here. But I'm sure that's Snaga blood, not theirs. Move them into this body of infantry here, like so. Charge! No quarter. And they're still firing away at these guys. And there's Gazug or Gazler, whatever his name, the Honorable. We'll send these two companies around this way. We'll send these Lorien infantry around that way, and this company to reform over here by the Goblin Petting Zoo. Go, go, go. Yeah, and our Eldar infantry are going to form our center just because I can't get enough of these guys. Have our archers stop firing. Against their Gazler the Honorable, whatever his name is, who's apparently arrow-proof. Yeah, we're going to send these guys in to finish the job. Because there's not really any orcs left to fight. Charge! Speed this up a little bit. Stab! Die! They're so tiny compared to these tall, proud, mighty Eldar warriors. We just got punched in the face!
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
There we go. Brilliant. We're getting boxed around in there by these Eldar warriors who are having a good time. There we go. That'll be the end of that orc army, and now we've taken Goblin Fairground, so we're gonna have fun, go on some rides, and I think that'll do for the episode. But yeah. What was I talking about? Oh yes, interaction between elves and men. Oh, well, I guess it'll have to wait because here we are. At the end here, occupy the settlement. Got ourselves a nice little income boost. We'll repair that. Lord Celeborn here, create a spy. And actually, you know, I like that because now we have an opportunity to basically go either way. We can come up here to reinforce the settlement should it ever need it. And we can push in on the orc strongholds down here. So that'll do for episode 5. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, as usual, if you guys liked what you saw here, just leave a comment, leave me some feedback, so I can continue to improve the series, and yeah, subscribe if you're so inclined. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and I hope to see you in episode 6. Take care. Bye bye.